Okay. Hi, everybody. We are live, so thank you for joining us on this Sunday morning. We are going to be joined by Estefania Rebellon. She will be with us soon. We're going to talk a bit about what she's been doing on the border, also discuss what's been happening there, especially with some of the stuff that's been in the news recently with the Haitian migrants and the Biden administration actions to deport many of these people. So she will be joining us soon, but in the meantime, we'll go ahead and get started with the show. So thank you everybody. Good morning. You're watching our Sunday morning show, Stand Up Fight Back, where we discuss strategy and analysis for the progressive movement. We simulcast on Facebook and YouTube, so please share us with your friends, your family members, your neighbors, your mechanic, and let them know that we're here on the Bernie Sanders Brigade page and also on YouTube at Inside Out News. I'm Margot Paez. I'm a scientist, engineer, and occasional journalist. And this is my wonderful co-host, the amazing grassroots organizer, Carlos Maruquin. Carlos, I think Estefania just dropped in, so I'm going to add her to the stream. But go ahead and introduce her again. She's been with us before, but not everybody watches our show religiously and remembers all of our guests. So we get to remind them about who she is.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome from wherever you may be watching us from. So excited to be here this morning. It is a cloudy morning here in Southern California. If you haven't gone out for a walk, this is the perfect time. It's really nice and, fresh, cool. I just came back from having breakfast, get something to eat. So very nice out here in Southern California. But today, oh my goodness, one of my heroes, one of those people that admire and inspire me so much is with us. Very excited to be able to talk about the work that she's doing over at the U.S. Mexico border. But for those of you that have been watching the news and monitoring what's happening, we have an ongoing crisis at the border with people seeking refuge, people that have escaped violence, that are escaping extreme poverty in their countries. And in this case, this past week, everybody has been glued to the news regarding the people of Haiti, how they were mistreated by border patrol agents using whips and horses. We also saw the Mexican government actually mobilize their troops to the border as well. So a lot of people are suffering deeply out there, but this case is not one time thing. This has been going on for a long time. We're gonna be diving in and talking to Stefania about the work that she's doing, but also about the ongoing crisis over at the border. Margaret?
Thank you, Carlos. Well, Estefania, thank you so much for being here with us. Why don't you introduce yourself as well? Maybe say a few things before that you may want to share or highlight that we didn't touch on before we get more into the discussion.
Well, yeah, thank you so much for having us again. Thank you, Carlos and Margot. What an introduction. You are one of my heroes as well. So it's everyday work that I guess we just dive into without realizing what it's going to do for the world and for ourselves. But yeah, as Carlos mentioned, this is an ongoing crisis. When we started this project of providing education for migrant children, we thought it was going to be a relief effort where we were going to go in 2018, participate, and then move on to other places that might need help. We haven't left from day one. because families continue to arrive every single day. The only time that we ever saw a decrease of families was the high months of COVID, which was February 2020 through May 2020, where most shelters were closed. So that was the only time that we saw that it slowed down. But ever since after that, every single day there's families. Most of the shelters that we're at right now, the one in TJ has around 220 people. The one in Mexicali also has over 200 people. And in Juarez, I think it's closer to 350. So, we're talking about really large numbers of people. And these are just one shelter that I'm talking about in all these cities. So it's definitely an ongoing crisis, and something that although people think that, it's happening when the news are actively reporting on it, we are on the ground and we're seeing the effects of decisions that get made in Washington really affect families directly. This is not a hypothetical. Sometimes people think that the government is far away from us and that whatever happens in Washington, you just watch it on the news and you go about your day the next day. For migrant families, literally every single decision means whether or not their life will continue in the U.S. or in Mexico, and the dangers that come with those decisions.
Margaret, Estefania, thank you again for being with us. Back in 2018, I remember that we put some funds together, organized a relief effort, as you said, because there was a crisis. We had thousands of people that had showed up at the border, escaping violence from Central America. That has not stopped. But prior to that movement of people coming to the border, the crisis already had existed. It's not like it was not there. We're talking about decades of people fleeing their countries for different reasons. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I personally got involved with the migrant crisis in 2018 because it became an international coverage, really. So it was the news that actually got out to the country and internationally that this was happening. And me not necessarily having an immigration activism background, that's how I was introduced to it. But very quickly we realized that, for example, shelters that we're working at have been around for more than 10 years. So these are places that have been intaking families for as long as these border cities have been around. When you go down to Tijuana, that's the first thing that people tell you, that it's a city made out of immigrants. Most people, the reason they stay in Tijuana is because they couldn't enter the U.S. And a lot of people that get deported, a lot of veterans as well that get deported, end up staying in Tijuana because it's the closest thing to an American city. You'll find people in Tijuana speaking English, telling you that, we've met families that the dad was deported after living in the U.S. for 20 years, having an entire career here, having their children be born here, and now they've been deported to a place that they don't recognize, they don't know, to start from zero when their whole family is still in the United States. So this is an ongoing crisis for decades long, and it's really shocking to me coming into the space now with the experience that we have, that these problems haven't been addressed before, because we're not talking about it being this administration that's facing this issue. This has been going on for, I would say, even more than 4 administrations that have been to, or even longer, have had to address this issue. And how is it possible that with more than 40, 30 years of repeating and beating over the head the same topic, that there is no solution? Right. And for us, really, it's more of a wanting to help or not wanting to help, because the resources are there. The U.S., when it makes a decision to do something, it happens quickly, just like we're seeing with the Haitian migrants. They are, most of them arrived in Del Rio, which is on the U.S. side. And the moment that happens, within a week, you can see that most people have been deported. So when there is a will, there is a way. And with the migrant crisis, there just hasn't been a will to fix it, really.
Right. So we're talking about decades of failed policies that, you know, continue to harm those people that are seeking refuge. It's not like, you know, you do a little something and the problem goes away. Even removing the Haitian people, people from that we saw over at the Texas border, even removing them from under the bridge, deporting them, accepting a few, it doesn't mean that you have solved the problem. You have failed immigration policies. And this is on both sides of the aisle. And we have to make that clear. It's not a Democratic or Republican that have failed. Both have failed.
I
Because
think definitely, I mean, institutionally, it has failed as one of the core values that this country is supposed to be founded on. It's supposed to be founded on a welcoming place that welcomes people from all places, all religions, all races. And we have seen over, the 200-year history of the United States, how many of the contributions that have been significant for this country have been made by migrants. So it's very shocking to see the reaction that is happening at the U.S.-Mexico border, especially now when this country was founded on that idea that if you come here and you're willing to work, that there is an opportunity for you. So what we saw with Ellis Island, and what we saw with the immigration that came over to the East Coast, New York was not New York without immigrants. So, Italian immigrants, Irish immigrants, all this European migration that came because of crisis and war that tore up their countries is what caused the East Coast to become what it has, one of the most influential places in the world, one of the richest places in the world, and a place that continues to thrive. So when we see that, and the success of it, it's really just contradictory that there's such a harsh push towards more immigrants coming here when a lot of them really just want an opportunity to work. And with the track record that the United States has, there is no reason to think that this wouldn't be a good idea for the U.S. to take in more people that come with new ideas and a new will to really work hard to just continue to build the best country in the world, as they say, which is not so much anymore.
Have you heard much from political leaders regarding the Biden administration's recent decisions? They seem to have taken a fairly firm stand of, we don't want you here, to migrants. So have you heard anything more detailed in terms of a defense of why they've made this decision?
We haven't had direct information come in. I think that this is, we're seeing this again. This happened with the Trump administration, where they had a very harsh message towards migrants not coming over, and it didn't really make a difference. So I think that what they're doing now is just putting that message out to media and voters, because we got to realize too that the new presidential election will be happening not far from now. We're talking about 2.5 years, almost 3 years. So this is such a hot topic that helped to win Trump's election, that as I would think as a politician, that's their priority, which again affects people greatly. So no, we haven't gotten direct information, but I can tell you from being on the ground that this message of, stop coming because it's not going to work doesn't really deter people. People that come to the border are very determined because they have to at least try seeking asylum, and it's not until they go through a long process at the border of waiting and going through the court system in the United States, if they get denied, that they actually move on from that thinking. And this is just a reality. As much as you want to tell people don't come, they don't really have an option not to come. So when you're when you're pinned against the wall and your only opportunity is this country, then it's very hard to try to tell someone to deter from that idea.
And have you heard from anybody who's worked with the Haitian migrants or spoken with them about their reasons for seeking asylum or coming into the United States right now?
Yeah, so a lot of Haitians, well, as we know, this past, I would say, 60 days have been very tragic for Haiti. The effects of the earthquake and also their president being assassinated. It's a lot of turmoil. A lot of people are afraid. A lot of local crime has risen to the top, and really, it scares people. It's also the poorest country on this side, of the world. So when you're seeing those situations, that definitely, pushes people to make decisions. Also, something that's not really put out there is that a lot of these migrants have already been migrating for years. These are not migrants that are specifically coming over from Haiti at the moment. These are migrants that have been living in South America and Central America for 1 to 5 years. And now that this is happening in Haiti, we just saw a large mass of them come over and try to seek asylum as a group. It worked before with in 2018 when the Central American caravan came to the border. So I'm not necessarily sure of how these large groups get formed. I'm not sure how that specifically happens on the ground. But I think it's just an accumulation of issues. And we are going to continue to see more climate migrants. I recently did talk about this at USC with their class of international affairs. And we talked about climate migrants who, unfortunately, at the moment, they do not qualify for asylum. Climate change is not a reason at the moment to be granted asylum, although we are going to be seeing that later on. So these are the type of issues that also need to be included and need to be changed. And I think that's also the issue that happens in Washington, that whenever there is a change that needs to be made, so many people need to agree with it that nothing gets done. And it just takes years, and these families are continue to be affected. So very difficult.
The time here the most on immigration and the crisis at the border is during election time. What we have noticed is that the migration crisis is used as a political tool, as a political and campaign talking point. But outside of that, little is done in Washington to really address it and fix the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think that the issues that we see on the ground are not addressed. I think they could be easily fixed if the funding was made possible, and if the people that are on the ground, as you guys know and Carlos know, are usually the best experts to go to and refer to. And oftentimes, usually Washington goes towards I would say like really big names that have, long history of being organizations, but are not necessarily heavily active at the border. So there is a miscommunication between the funds that get granted and actually the groups that are on the ground working with these families that could really make a huge difference. So I think that's also the issue as well, because there's a lot of lawyers that go down to the border and have been helping incredibly. And a lot of their funding is just individual people in the United States, just like us. I personally believe that our program providing education for migrant children who are going to be spending anywhere from 3 to 12 months in a shelter is a priority for children. And, our program is a program that should be getting funding from both governments, honestly, because it is a priority, just like shelter and water. But it's not. We're primarily funded just by individuals at home, people that are concerned and people that find us through press or through social media. So it's really difficult to all these groups be doing this type of work and really being dependent and supported by individual people, because if it's not sustainable. So it's difficult for that. Yeah.
Estefania, tell us about the program. I mean, 2 years ago, you went over there, you started this Yes We Can World Foundation. It became a program, and it's a very, very successful program that is directly affecting migrant children and their families. Describe to us your program. What is it? What do you offer? What kind of classes do they give? Why is it so important?
Of course, yeah. And Kyle's here with me as well. I'm sure he'll step in to say hi. He's looking for some photos at the moment for you guys. But yeah, Kyle and I started this nonprofit really out of necessity and really out of realizing that there was a need and we needed to get something done. And that something resulted in school, because I heavily think that schools are safe spaces for the most part for children and places where they get to interact and meet other people. So all the kids that you're seeing on screen right now are migrant kids from Central America, and these are spaces that are unique to them. All of our children are migrants, so they are all interacting with each other. They have the same stories. Most of them have also been through traumatic situations that they, when you gel with your people, these are all kids, even these two little boys that you're looking at right now, they're from our Juarez location. They actually have an incredible story because their moms met in Guatemala crossing the border. And they ended up getting to Juarez on their own. And when they got to Juarez, they realized that they were in the same shelter and they were now in the same school, on the same group. So these two little boys are great friends. The one on the left, he's in Florida at the moment, and I'll have to catch up with them. But he was really sweet when he left because our teacher asked him if he was upset that he was going to leave his friend. They had been through this whole process together. And these are 8-year-old boys that we're talking about. And he said, no, because I know that if life brought us together, it'll bring us back together. And this is a child telling you this. And these are children that have experienced so much beyond their years. And unfortunately, you can see that in them. You can see that they've grown up unnecessarily and that they're still kids at the same time. So it's difficult to watch. But these are resilient children. These are children who are very aware that if they are granted this opportunity to go to the United States, that they need to make the best out of it. A lot of them are you see this too with the Dreamers, with DACA recipients. You see everybody come out when there's a press article saying that, they're doing it to honor the sacrifice their parents have made and they want to graduate college and want to have an incredible life. So these are siblings as well. They're in TJ at the moment. They're still there. So yeah, I mean, going back to our program, these are the girl that's hugging me. She's in Minnesota at the moment, and we get to catch up with them. They're in middle school at the moment. So our program starts at the border. We provide full-time education from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. with accredited teachers. So we essentially run schools, which is very difficult and beyond assistant programs, because a lot of programs usually come in and do an hour a week or 2 hours a week of some sort of stimulation for children. We're there every single day. So anytime a family arrives at the border, there's that certainty that they can show up and the school is there. We actually had families that with COVID, they went back home because they didn't want to be in a shelter with 200 people, and then came back and the school was there. So we still had their kids on file and they could just come back. So it's that type of certainty that provides family the calm in the middle of the storm that they're in. So going back to our program, this was when we opened the school for the first time, that you're seeing right now. Our program goes from Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., and we teach a curriculum that is approved by, oh, there you could see Gabby, the girl holding the painting, and the girl that's sitting on my arms. They recently crossed on August 19th. This is a Central American family that has been migrating for over 3 years, and they finally got a chance to come a month ago. So we're currently helping them. Carlos has been helping us with them as well. And we're helping them right now find a place to live and then eventually get registered in schools. The little girl to your wearing purple, her name was Valentina. She's 5 years old. Well, at the time she was 5, and she went through ICE. And this is a 5-year-old that we have a video of, that we haven't released yet. But we have her testimony talking about ICE. And this is a 5-year-old telling you about her experience being in this place. And to her, it's just, to adults, you understand the context, but a child telling you, it's just creates a, kind of a complex situation for you. But yeah, these are all children who are very, the little boys in the back, I can't point, but he's like waving. He has 3 brothers. They were one of the first families that was able to cross. They're in California. And then the little boy wearing red to your left, his name was Pedro. And I fondly remember him because he didn't know how to read or write when he got to our school, and I think he was already 10. And he loved being there. He was a very hyper child, very also kind of angry, didn't know how to express his emotions. And he became one of our leaders in the school. Because when we first met him, he always wanted to be around us, but he also had those, didn't know how to express himself. So I thought, what better way to channel this energy than to give him a role in our school and to help us. So he used to help us gather the kids in the school and became a leader figure within his little friendship community. And he was always happy. He helped us build chairs at the school. And then because their case didn't go through, they ended up going back to Mexico, where they're from. So we have also pictures and videos of him literally like crying as if somebody died because he was leaving the school. So I know for certain, and I wish everybody had an opportunity to come down and help and witness this life-changing moments that children have in our schools, because these are schools and all of our teachers are very invested in providing a safe space for the kids. So this is a teaching program that goes beyond just a regular school. We're deeply invested in these kids. We know their stories. Their parents feel comfortable sharing their stories with us. And we always try our best way to help them. This is Sarita. She was with us for over a year. Her family came literally right when COVID started. So their case was in limbo for over a year. And she's an only child of 2 parents, very hardworking parents, and they're finally in the U.S. now as well. So these are hundreds of stories. At this moment, we've helped over 800 kids in all of our 3 schools over a period of 2 years. And we are looking to open another location in which our starting class will be 150 kids. So with that, we will be helping over, I think it's going to be 300 kids a month that we're going to be enrolling in our programs across the border. This is a great family as well. She helped us with, we usually hire migrant moms to be assistants in our programs with our teachers when our groups are too large. So she was helping us with our pre-K group. Her son Carlos is actually featured on our bus design, which I think we're going to be revealing as a surprise to you guys. Her son is on the bus. So this is a family that was with us. Wow, when did we do the bus? That must have been at the end of 2019 or early 2020 that we designed the bus wrap. So they were with us, and then they went back home because of COVID, and they came back. So this was Mother's Day at our school. That's what she's holding, the rose. So, I mean, we really do function like a regular school. You know, we have every celebration under the book that you can think a regular school has. We have Spirit Week as well. We've done Crazy Hair Day. And this is Elizabeth. This is one of our classrooms. You can go to the next one. We also have, aside from the bus, we have tents because we have so many kids. As you can see, it's a packed class. So we have 2 additional tents that operate as our additional classrooms, and all of our kids rotate because the only classroom that has AC and technology is our bus. So we have iPads on the bus, and we have AC units on the bus, and then all kids rotate throughout the day. This is our teen class. Our teacher is there in blue. Lots of teens. The girl at the bottom next to the smiley face, she is incredible. She went back to, her family decided to go back to the town that she's from in Mexico because their case didn't go through. And she's a great writer, amazing, like a true leader. We're still in touch with her, and she loves writing. She told us that she wanted to be a writer one day and write a book. So these are truly incredible children that I wish people would just see their kids in them, because they truly are. We're talking about, you know, people that have lots of potential, lots to give. This is one of the volunteer events that we've done with an organization called This Is About Humanity, which is great too. They focus on raising awareness and funds for families at the border. This was also one of our musicals we usually do for Christmas, and I think this was Valentine's Day because I see a heart back there. So we do little musicals with the kids. And yeah, I mean, looking at these photos, they're all memories, you know, they're all kids that we remember going through our programs. This is the second bus we built. This was, it's one of the newer models, and this was the build process. So this is what we're looking to do with the next bus that we have, is convert it as well, which will now allow us to have three buses. So this is, yeah, more pictures. She's a twin. Her sister's behind her. Of our kids. This is them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the classes that kids receive when they come to your program? What are some of the topics and some of the different programs that you offer to the kids?
Yeah, so we do everything required by the Education Board in Mexico, who we partner with. So we do math, language arts, social studies, science, and history. And then in addition to that, we also do our own curriculum, which includes a class called the migrant process and also emotional intelligence. So in migrant process, we help children understand what it is to migrate, what that concept means, and understand the process that they're going through to assimilate what it is, because many of them think, honestly, that migration is going to the wall and crossing. That's, you know, in a child's perspective, that's their perspective. So we help them understand what it is, and that it's something that it's okay that they're going through, because it's not something they can avoid. So instead of putting the topic aside, we confront it and help children understand what it is that they're going through. And also, we usually share with them the many people that have been successful once they migrated somewhere. So a lot of the big CEOs in the United States, like the head of Google, different companies have been migrants that came over to this country and made incredible things of themselves. So we definitely do highlight that. And also within that class, we help them also really, I guess, wherever they go, bring that value with them wherever they're from. So if they're from Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, or Mexico, to really carry their culture with them, because we don't know where they're going to end up. They might end up in a state that they are the one kid from Honduras in their school. And we help them. We provide them with the skills to really have that self-confidence that it's okay to be where they're from, and that they should showcase it, and they should share the best of that country with the people they're meeting, even if there's a bad connotation, in the community. That if somebody says, like, oh, you're from, like me, I'm from Colombia. So people usually associate Colombia with drugs and cartels. But when somebody talks to me, I'm like, oh, well, did you know that Colombia is the number one exporter of emeralds in the world? Did you know that Colombia has one of the best coffees in the world? Do you know that Colombia exports the most roses for Mother's Day? That most of the roses we buy in the United States are actually coming from Colombia. So these are all things that people are not really aware of. That changes that conversation. When somebody says, oh, yeah, Honduras, I've heard about that. So many migrants, so much crime and all this stuff. And it's like, well, did you know that we have incredible food? Did you know that we have incredible islands that with $500, you can live like a king for a month? It's like, there's so many other things that you can share with people. So that's what we do in that class. We really provide information for kids to have those skills. So when they're confronted with someone, that they can share this. And then our other class is emotional intelligence, in which we just focus mostly on any trauma-related things that kids might be going through. Our teachers, some of them are psychologists as well. So we really cater that class to help children understand the emotions that they're going through and have an understanding of what skills are available for them to do those things. So it's a lot of work. It's definitely a lot of work, a lot of learning, a lot of adapting, a lot of changing, a lot of, adding things to our program and, putting some things away. So it's definitely, I think, also the flexibility of doing that and the awareness of being able to make changes if they're needed, that sometimes are also kind of not celebrated in the education systems, because you're so by the book and you have to follow this curriculum and you have to follow these rules, that really has allowed us to be successful, that we can learn and move on.
Estefania, I would like to just chime in. Yeah, Estefania, this class that you're talking about, this emotional intelligence class, it sounds like something that most schools should have, because in this particular case, migrant children are facing a unique trauma, but children even in the United States face all sorts of traumas once they get there. And I think it would be great if we had something like that, especially when migrant children cross over into the United States and start to integrate into the society. These traumas don't get left on the other side of the border. Has anybody approached your organization from the United States looking to try to integrate any of the types of curriculum that you've introduced there?
We have had initial conversations with different teaching groups and individual teachers. We actually last year worked with a group of teachers in Chicago who helped to raise funds for the organization and also implemented some of the things we're talking about. We haven't at large made I guess, plan to introduce this, but it's something we certainly would love to do. I mean, we know for sure that it works. And like you said, migrant children are experiencing a specific type of trauma, but children all over the United States and the world could greatly benefit from spaces where they can learn to manage their emotions and talk freely about them, and for adults to really make that transition. I mean, it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we are seeing such a huge, I would say, spotlight on mental health that hopefully, I truly believe that we're sort of setting the foundation for the next 100 years. It's just as a side note, really quick, I know we're a little bit running out of time, but if you really think about time, it's 2021. That means we're literally, it's just like thinking about the 1920s. We're living in the 20s of the 2000s. So if we are able to make those great changes right now, that means that the next 100 years will be impacted by this, just like we have been impacted by everything that happened, in the 1900s. We are living the results of the Great Depression and the climate issues that people didn't address in the 1900s, now in the 2000s. So if we're able to all really be aware of that, I think that we'll have that mindset that all those contributions that we're making now are really going to make a difference 100 years from now. Maybe 100 years from now, we will need to be having this conversation about mental health. Maybe it'll just be so embedded in schools that people will definitely be better for it.
And what percentage of migrant children go through your schools? Do you know?
As a whole, and I mean, I don't have that number because that would mean we don't have that number, but we are in one shelter per city. So I would say, unfortunately, compared to all the shelters, it would be a small percentage because we are in one location in each city. So we would love to do more. I mean, we're definitely capable of expanding further and faster than we have, but it goes back to funding. We rely on the support of people. All of our programs are supported by U.S. funds. We don't have any Mexican funding at the moment. So that's our only limitation. We could go further, and we have been invited to go to other shelters because people love the program and they want us there. But when we make commitments, we make 1-year commitment and we hire staff. So if we don't have the funds for that, we just can't get started.
So a couple of things that I want to do. One is I would like to see if you can introduce Kyle to us.
Of course. Kyle,
I want to meet Kyle. That's my brother from another mother. I mean, I love this guy right here. Hey, Kyle.
Hey, Carlos. How you doing?
So good to see you, my brother. This is another powerhouse right here for Yes We Can. Co-founder, has been there from day one. I hope you guys don't mind me saying this, but you are a couple.
Yes.
We are a couple, yes.
They're a couple and a lovely one. May I add that to that? The level of support that you give Estefania and vice versa, it shows, because this program is where it's at because you guys have sacrificed everything. You literally put your careers on hold because of the need for this program. Congratulations. Thank you. There's a couple, I know we're running out of time, but there's a couple exciting news that we want to share with people. I've been promising people that we have some announcements to make, etc. Estefania, what happened about 3 weeks ago with the Department of Education in Mexico? There was a bit. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so this is something that we've been working with them for about 8 months. So it's been a long time coming, and all the officials that we've been working with are very, very supportive of our program. And we finally signed our agreement for a partnership with the Education Board in Mexico, in which all of our students are going to receive accreditation of their studies for Mexico, which also helps for the US. On our own, we already give children a certificate when they leave our program, and that has been working in US schools for them to be accepted. But now with this partnership with the Mexican Education Board, it's just going to be a little more official and just provide a faster process for families. Because schools will be able to recognize the program a lot faster and just type in a code that they gave us, and it'll pop up that they're in a regular school, and the time that they have been with us is going to be accredited wherever they might go. So it's really a big deal for us. It's something that we had in mind the minute we started the school, because we mostly want to make sure that it's beneficial for children all the way, that wherever they end up, that they can continue their studies. So finally, after working with them for a while, it came to fruition. So we're very, very excited for what the future holds. They're also very interested in this topic because they're aware of all of our conversations revolve around the future. We're very aware that this is going to be an ongoing crisis for years to come. So our goal at the moment is to, again, set that foundation that when children arrive at the border, there are programs available for them immediately, and that it can help them for the rest of their lives. So it's really exciting, and we're
It's good.
Excited.
It's been a long time coming. Yeah, and I was going to say that was one of the really important pieces of it too, is that kids will miss what you probably already mentioned. They can miss anywhere from 3 to 6 months or more of school without the Yes We Can program. But then what happens if they cross to the US or they try to enter a school in Mexico without any type of accreditation or school history? Some of the kids would be at least like 2 years, sometimes 3 years behind on their schooling.
Yeah, they'll set them back. If you don't have a way to prove that you have been in a school program while you're migrating, schools usually will set you back a year or two because they don't have any history that can prove that you should be where you should be, which is, again, systems that need to be revised
completely
and
changed.
changed. Yeah. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen as quickly as it needs to. So we do work with many schools around the United States. We have children all over the country, even in Hawaii and Alaska, which is very weird. It's family, because families sometimes tell me where they're going, and I'm like, are you aware that you're going there and it's going to be super cold, and like, or do you know where you're going? So that's part of also just quickly mentioning our migration class again, that they learn where they're going. So we're like, okay, you're going to this state. This is the temperature.
At
this
least
is what
get
you're
an
going to
idea.
do.
Yeah.
The second announcement. You guys have another bus that...
Yes, we do.
Bus number 3.
Bus number 3. And that bus needs some work. That means we need to transform that bus into a classroom.
Yeah, so we have a bus that was donated to us by Santa Barbara Airbus. They're a coaching company out of Santa Barbara. And the bus is ready to go. We already took the chairs out, which is hard labor. We already did that, and it's ready to go. So we do need help, again, from the community to help us convert this third bus into a third mobile school that will be servicing hundreds of children. And we can only really make it happen with some help from people like you watching at home. So I think Carlos is going to help us out with that, with sharing all those details of how people can get involved.
Yes, so what we're going to do is tomorrow we're going to be broadcasting live, because I want you guys to see the bus and I want you to visualize it. That, what needs to happen, the conversion. And pretty much up front, I'm going to let you know, we're going to need $10,000. $10,000 to $15,000 to make that happen. That sounds like a lot of money, but it's not. Some of you have that pretty much, laying around somewhere in your house.
10,000.
People like, but we gotta help Estefania. You heard today. You saw the pictures. Oh my God, I had tears in my eyes just seeing some of these children. I don't know how you guys do it, and you guys have a heart of a lion. But anyways, we're gonna need $15,000 to convert the bus. So tomorrow we're gonna be going live. We want to show you the bus, and I'm gonna be making a special announcement tomorrow as well. So you're gonna be treated with not only seeing the bus before, but I'm gonna be sharing a personal announcement tomorrow from the site where the bus is. Very excited. Martha, do you have anything else?
So many secrets Carlos holds.
No, I'm so excited to hear all these
Can't wait.
announcements. I'm gonna have to. What time are you making this announcement, Carlos?
Well, 10 o'clock, we're going to be meeting. So most likely around 11 o'clock, I would say. We're going to be making a big announcement. But we want you guys to see the bus and the possibilities. I remember when we worked on the first bus, you guys, amazing.
You're part of that bus, Carlos. Literally the man that can do everything. Put in the electricity in the bus. That bus certainly has, you can feel it for sure when you're there, a lot of history, because so many kids have gone through it that every single corner, you can just feel it when it's lived in, when there's a place that has that energy. So we're hoping to replicate that 1/3 time, which will now bring us to 3 buses, which is incredible. I mean, literally just.
You have some pictures, Margaret, of the bus when we're working on the bus.
I showed some earlier, but I didn't get that last photo that you sent me.
Oh my goodness! I just sent it.
I was just checking my phone, and I never received it.
On the email.
I don't know what happened.
Oh, that's bad.
We were trying to get photos for
tomorrow.
But
tomorrow we'll show it.
Know.
We want to see the final product of what the bus looks like with the wrap. I'm just so in love with the wrap. You had an artist that actually created that, right?
Yeah, so the wrap on the bus was something that we worked on for a while. And we worked with a female artist out of Fiji, actually, the other side of the world. So she's amazing. Her name is Annie. She's an illustrator. And the design for the bus is, well, how do you explain it? It's kind of like, it's 5 characters, and Kyle and myself are on the design as well. And the other 5 characters are 5 students that have been through our program. So it was really important for us to just channel that energy of the kids
and have that representation, like we talked about. So any of the kids that are going to come on the bus or into the program, they'll be able to see themselves on the bus. And it kind of has these really cool magical element design, so it makes it fun.
That's great.
Yeah.
How did you connect with this artist? They're so far away.
We found her on, there's a website called Fiverr. It's a great website to find talent. And we did a lot of research on illustrators, and based on their portfolios, we contacted a few, and she was on the top of our list. And we knew we wanted to work. Also, I think it was important for us to work with a female artist that could also get that opportunity, because it's a design that's literally on our buses, getting driven around everywhere. So I thought it was a really cool opportunity to highlight that talent. And she's great. We really loved her style and her design and storytelling. So
I got a photo from Carlos. I'm just trying to send it to myself.
Okay.
So I can show it. Let me see if I can do that here. Maybe I can save it to my Dropbox. But yeah, so where will this new school go? this bus, where is this one headed after you raise the money to build, to renovate the inside, make it into a school bus? Where are you going to put that one?
So I think this bus will go to another shelter, whether it's in Tijuana or another border city by the time it's done. I don't have a specific location at the moment because, again, we don't make commitments until we're ready. So with the shelters that we work with, but we do have several that have asked us for help. So it will for sure get used at the border with the kids. And then once we have a partnership in place, we would be able to share that as well with people. But for certain, it will get used a lot. Yeah, just for us, it's really important to have all those things in place, because once we build the bus, we also gotta secure funding for the teachers and our program. So once all of that comes together, we'll be able to share with everyone where it will go, but it will definitely be at the border.
Awesome. Let's see, I got it now. I'm just trying to share the window, but it's pretending that it doesn't exist. Yeah,
But-
this software. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Oh my God, look at it. Let's have the drums.
Yeah, so Zoe that you see on there, she is the girl on the picture.
On the right side, yeah.
Yeah. So this is the family that we were talking about earlier that have been migrating for 3 years. That's how long their process took.
And she was in our school kind of at the very beginning when we first opened in Tijuana.
Yeah.
Actually.
Her and her family were there. So that's her with her superhero cape and the Yes We Can logo in the middle. And myself on there as well. And do you have one of the side?
I think this is the only one Carlos sent me.
I sent you 3 of them.
Oh, you did? Okay. I only saw one. You texted this one to me.
Yeah, I texted 3 of them.
Oh.
And also to share on the bottom, you can see.
I only got one of them. Sorry.
You can see our sponsor too, the Citizenry. They were the ones that provided the funding for this vehicle to purchase and convert it. So we're very grateful for them. They're a Texas company, female run as well.
And they do kind
mothers.
of like high-end sustainable home goods, and they source their stuff from countries all around the world and kind of entrepreneurs that sometimes don't get the attention they need. So they're a great company too. And they actually do that every year. They do for their Black Friday sales, they do like a big donation every nonprofit. So they chose us for 2019. Yeah.
And is this supposed to be you, Estefania?
Awesome. Yes.
You gotta turn your head for the angle. Get the right. There we go. Yeah.
That is me. Yeah. And then on the other side, because this is the back of the bus.
Yeah.
The kind of the full portrait.
The whole portrait.
Yeah. You can see all the kids.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. I still haven't. I don't know why this is so difficult. But I didn't get the other photos. I only got this one. So.
Yeah. Well, we will be sharing those photos with you tomorrow. Definitely. But you guys are going to fall in love with this bus and the work that Estefania and Kyle have been doing. It's just beyond amazing. So we are very fortunate that they are with us today, sharing their time, their talents, and their commitment to the people. Definitely, Stephanie, I'm looking forward in seeing you tomorrow so we can unveil, the bus that's going to be converted. Kyle, thank you for being with us. I know we're out of time. We did say that we wanted to be here for an hour. I don't want to abuse our, and take time. I know you're busy. I don't know how you guys do it. I think I'm busy. You guys are triple busy. Kids. I got to meet one of the families a couple of weeks ago. Oh my gosh. They had me. The minute that I saw that family, they already took my heart. I don't know how you guys do this every day.
It's definitely been, I think the first year was the most difficult, seeing the families go when their cases were up, because you do get attached to a lot of their stories, a lot of their, and you want to know what's going to happen with them. You know, we're so invested with them when they're at their worst time in their life, that we want to see them succeed. So thankfully, we do follow up with them on the U.S. side, and we have that connection with our families. But yeah, I mean, they're all incredible. They all have unbelievable stories, truly, and they are all full of potential and ready to work. So that's the message I wish that everyone got a chance to experience with these families, because it does change your perspective once you put a face to it. So hopefully doing all of this awareness, thank you guys for the invite. Thank you for having us here. And hopefully we can just continue to share all these stories and little by little chip away at all that messaging that gets put out that it's really just untrue.
Right. How can people get in touch with you if people want to donate, if people want to do something, if they want to raise some funds for you? How can they do that?
Yeah, so we have our website. Our website is yeswecan.world. So you can look us up, and we have all of our contact information on there. You can send us an email, and you can also message us on Instagram. Our Instagram page is yeswecanwf. We read all of the DMs, so if you message us on there, we can get in touch with you, or the website is also the best way to get in touch with us.
Yes, we can. That world.
Yes, that world.
And that's also the place you can donate. So there's the donate page on there, and then you can also do a Facebook fundraiser as another option as well.
Yeah, we're everywhere. So we're on Facebook. If you want to do a fundraiser, we're on GoFundMe as well. You can select us as a nonprofit on there. Yeah, and you can also on Instagram. You can also do fundraisers on Select Us. So any program you're working on, we're definitely already registered on there as a nonprofit. And yeah, if you want to do a school fundraiser, we've had kids do lemonade stands. In Chicago, it was really funny. They taped their principal to the wall. And you could pay $1 for a piece of tape. So that was really, really funny that their principal participated in that. It was an elementary school. So all sorts of marathons.
That was a good fundraiser, yeah.
Yeah, they had a good time. So yeah, definitely teachers, organizations, anybody at home that wants to help. You could do it your own way, make it fun for yourself, and help us. Yeah,
help people. This is one of the organizations that I tell you cannot go wrong, and the benefits go directly to children that are innocent, that are pure, families that are just seeking a better life, escaping violence, escaping all some sorts of crises in their lives. We need to help Estefania and Kyle. We need to help. Yes, we can. We can do this. We need to raise $15,000. I'm going to be giving you the link tomorrow. We're going to have details, how you can participate. Help me raise $15,000. We can do this, people. We have done it in the past. We're going to do it for them. And we're going to send that bus full of supplies when he goes back. When he's going back, the other bus?
The other bus that's already ready, I think it's going to be going to Mexico in the next 2 weeks. So we definitely want to do a supply fundraiser. So if anybody has school supplies that they want to donate, you guys can help us fill the bus before we head out. Yeah, and we'll have those details. We can share that with you when we do all the other announcements.
Yes, I think that we were talking about parking the bus over at Elysian Park or and have people just drop out the supplies. We'll work on that. But thank you for being with us this Sunday. Anything else you guys have? Any last words?
No, just thank you. Thank you, Carlos.
Your dog has a few words to say.
Our
I think.
dog.
Now my dog has a few words to say.
You just got taken to the back. No, thank you so much. Thank you for all of your support. You know how much we appreciate it. And yeah, we just want to thank you guys. And hopefully we can just keep sharing this information and sharing awareness.
Thank you so much. Carlos, any final thoughts?
I just say that this is the place that if you want to get involved, support, yes, we can. You know, they have a special place in my heart. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Estefania, and thank you, Kyle.
Yeah.
Kyle. Okay, great. I'm always struggle with names the first time around. But so thank you both for joining us today. This has been an absolutely amazing interview, and I'm so glad that we were able to share so many of these photos because it really brings home the message of what you're doing and how important and how vital it is. And also just how crazy that there isn't something like this, that there wasn't something like this before you and Kyle founded this. So thank you so much for filling that important gap and not letting these children miss out on their education. So thank you to our viewers too for joining us today. You've been watching Stand Up, Fight Back, where we discuss strategy and analysis for the progressive movement. I'm Margot Paez, your co-host, and right below me, that's Carlos Amato King, the amazing grassroots organizer and the mastermind behind so much good that happens in this world. And yes, of course, these amazing people too are masterminds behind the good things that happen in this world as well. So please tune in again every week, Sunday morning. That's at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. We're live. We simulcast on Facebook at the Bernie Sanders Brigade page and also on YouTube at Inside Out News. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow for a very special update from Carlos and from the Yes We Can World Foundation. They're going to be unveiling their new bus and raising funds for it. And Carlos has a very, very important announcement to make. So I would just tune in just to hear what the heck he's going to announce because it seems like a big deal. And it might blow things up. I don't know. So tune in.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Have a really great week. Take care of yourself. Stay safe. Get vaccinated if you haven't already. And we'll see you soon. Bye, everyone. Take care.